Welcome back. Have you ever wondered how and when humans were able to calculate the circumference of the Earth over 2,000 years ago? It begins in 240 BC by a man named, and I'm going to butcher the name, Eratosthenes Er- or Eratosthenes.
Eratosthenes.
All right. I'm going to call him Eric just to make my life a whole lot easier. So, Eric was the chief librarian for the Library of Alexander that was in modern day Egypt. The story goes that he liked talking to tourists so he could gather new information and learn about the world and expand the knowledge in the Library of Alexander. One day he was talking to one of these tourists, and the tourist made a comment that on the longest day of the year, which is June 21st, that in his city of Cyrene, he could not observe any shadows. So Eric wondered how this could be because on June 21st, he knew that he observed shadows in and around the Library of Alexander. So on noon on the longest day of the year, Eric went out and measured the angle of a shadow. I'm going to guess probably off of a obelisk that he measured the length of the shadow to get the angle, which he found to be around 7.2 or 7 degrees. Sphericity of the Earth had been recognized by astronomers all the way back in 500 BC, so Eric wasn't surprised that there was an angle difference between the two cities. The next thing Eric needed was to know the distance between the city of Cyrene and the Library of Alexander. So he hired a pacer, which was a common job back in the day, and this pacer measured it out to be about 780 kilometers in today's units. So using geometry, he knew that the angle of the shadow wasn't just the angle of the shadow, but it sub-extended all the way to the center of the Earth in both locations. Using geometry and the law of sines, future self here. So when I just mentioned the law of sines in geometry, that was sort of correct. He did use geometry and he did use the law of sines, but he used ratios between the two. So you have the angle of 7 degrees over the full 360 degrees, which is also equal to the distance between the city of Cyrene and the library over the full circumference of the Earth. And that's what he solved for. He calculated that the circumference was 40,114.28 kilometers. And our current measurement today for the circumference of the Earth is 40,075 kilometers. So his calculation was off by 45 kilometers from today's measurements all the way back over 2,000 years ago.